Hi everyone, I'm Stephanie, I'm a freelance Christian writer, and today I'm going to be taking you on a journey of my day, starting a new book of the Bible, doing this Bible study, looking at the overview, and how I take notes in Notion to support my Bible study every day. So let's get started. So it is currently 5:28 and I got up around 5:15 and woke up naturally to the sunlight because I live in the UK and there is sun at like 4:30 now, something ridiculous like that. So that was nice and yet also durable, but I like getting up this early. I have a 2-year-old son and he doesn't get up this early, thankfully, so this is like the only time I have for quiet. I have made my trusty coffee in this lovely mug that I got from Typo, which I'd never been to before, but I'm gonna spill it on myself. But I love it. It's like my favourite mug. And it's also a good size. So yes, I will kind of talk you through each little part of my morning routine. I already got dressed. It's the first thing I do, otherwise I just won't get it done. But the first thing I do every single morning is journal. And the reason I do this is because it's important for me to like get out all of my feelings, emotions, what have you, before I start anything else. And a lot of people will say you have to start your morning with your Bible study, and like I get it, but I also feel like if I don't like rid myself of all of the various emotions that I'm going through, like I just like don't have a good Bible study because I'm thinking about everything, I'm too focused on myself. So maybe as I become a better person, I'll be able to do my Bible study first, but I also find it as a way of offering everything up to God, as like, this is just how I am today. Like, before we dig in and do some study, like, this is where I'm at. And so it's not written like a prayer, but it is like, it's a prayerful reflection on my life as it currently stands. I use, we use black moleskin. Sometimes they're moleskin, sometimes they're not moleskin. It depends how much money we have at the time. But I use the, apparently I'm using the lined ones. Normally I use dotted or squared, because they're smaller, so you can fit more in. You can see that my son has decided to decorate this kind of sticker, this kind of one. So I'm gonna write in my journal and then let you know what happens next. The next thing I'm going to do this morning is write in my prayer journal. This is a 5-year, I think they call it One Thing I Ask or something. Anyway, it's a 5-year prayer journal, and it's blank on today, so I can show you that it's like got like a space for the date or the year and then some lines, and you can write some prayers in it. And I got this like a couple years ago, and clearly May 19 has been neglected. But I don't really write in it all the time. I only really write in it occasionally, if there's something specific I want to pray for that I feel like goes beyond my regular journal. I don't really know how to describe it, but kind of big things that I'm like, oh, like, I want to remember that I have prayed for this, which is maybe not the most like helpful thing, but I kind of see this as more of a petitionary space. So like I've written on the next page, like, there was a specific situation at work I wanted help with, and a bit further down there's like particular prayers about like, should I leave my job, previous job, and stuff like that. So big kind of stuff, and sometimes it's because I've forgotten, and sometimes it's because I'm being intentional, and that's just the reality of life. So yes, I'm gonna write something down, and I'll like, the thing I'm gonna write about this morning, I posted a short about it yesterday, is in up here, I can't tell, is the student who took the Bible that I offered in church yesterday. So I'm gonna praise God for that moment, but also pray for this student, and that it's a blessing to her, and that she grows and learns from having a Bible. And now that I've prayed and journaled, I am going to start my Bible study. I as I said at the beginning, a freelance Christian writer, which means I'm working on a couple different projects at the moment, and one of them is some devotional notes on 1 and 2 Timothy. So I will not read 1 and 2 Timothy, because I feel like it's important to separate work from devotional time. So I'll share my process for writing those notes in another video, but just so you're aware, I am also working on something on Matthew, so won't be reading that either. And I'm actually going to start a new book today, and you're gonna think this is really silly, but this is genuinely how I do it. Go to Google and I do Bible study, Bible book generator, randomizer, I can't remember what my thing is, and I go to Word Wall, spin the wheel. This is genuinely 100% how I do this, so forgive me for being awkward. And I spin the wheel, and it lands on Isaiah. So we will study Isaiah this morning. So you may be wondering why I don't use a traditional Bible reading plan, and normally I would. I think one of the reasons I haven't this year, or this time around, is I feel like I struggle with Bible reading plans. I know Genesis super well, but don't really know the middle so much. So I know the Gospels, I know Genesis, Exodus pretty well, but I always kind of struggle with momentum, and so I've just kind of taken to reading a book at a time. And I have done Bible in a year before, but I just find it more fun if I have a bit of surprise about it. It also means that I feel less bound by time, and so one of the things I struggle with as it relates to Bible reading plans is I don't read very quick, and I don't like reading very quick when I'm doing Bible study, so I actually kind of prefer to just take it as it comes and see what happens, and where God leads me. So that's what I'm going to do. This is the Bible I'm working on at the moment. There's so much stuff on my desk. This is another Hosanna Revival Bible. This one is a CSB, a Christian Standard Bible, and I just really like it. Truth be told, I got it because it was pretty. Wasn't paying too much attention to the translation, and I'll explain why. But isn't it beautiful? And I love yellow, so win. But the reason I do care about translations, but because, as you'll see in a minute, I kind of work through a couple different translations as I'm doing this Bible study. It just feels less critical that the one I start reading in is the one that's perfect. First of all, no Bible translation is perfect. Second of all, every Bible translation has some kind of connotation in the kind of Christian world, like for better or for worse, like people associate different translations with different traditions, and I don't love that. I feel like as long as you're mindful of the fact that no translation is perfect, like you should use what works for you and what you're actually going to read. And I find the CSB as my first read through like quite understandable, and so yeah, I like it. It's gaining traction, I think, at the moment. Like it's gaining a lot more popularity, especially here in the UK, and so there's a lot more options in terms of study Bibles and stuff, but I genuinely went with it because I liked the cover, and I do think that using the Bible that you're actually going to read is most important. It's not the Bible with all my notes in. I've used a couple different Bibles over time for notes, which I, again, know is not recommended, but, you know, over the past few years, my Bible study has been a bit fragmented, a bit kind of intermittent, and so I've used some different Bibles, different translations, different styles of Bible in terms of journaling Bibles, regular Bibles, filament Bibles, etc. And this is what I've decided to work with, and I'm just going to stick with it and try and fill it as much as possible. I don't take commentary notes in this Bible. This Bible is for my personal notes, and so you'll see a couple people on YouTube talk about Bible journaling in different ways, but these notes are mine, like my thoughts, my reflections, and then when I read the commentaries I put those in a different space. So yeah, I will just go ahead and start my study. I'll start with Isaiah 1, and I just read a chapter at a time, and then I do the commentaries, and then I come back. So and because this is the beginning of a new book, after I've read it first pass through, I'll also read some background on the book, which is usually the first chapter of the commentary, so that makes it easier. So anyway, let's start Isaiah. So before I take any notes, which I'm not going to show you because they're a bit more personal, just wanted to show you the kind of markings I do. Very basic. I use yellow for regular things I want to remember and blue for things I don't understand. And then circle a couple keywords. Yeah. So Isaiah 1 is quite long actually, so this will take me longer than normal, but that's okay. And yeah, we'll see how far we get. So I've just finished taking my kind of personal notes on Isaiah 1. My husband came down and left for work, so was a bit disrupted in the middle, but that's fine. Such is life. But one of the things I was reflecting on with Isaiah 1 is just, it's clear that God cares about defending the oppressed and uplifting the poor, and so the same must be said for us now as God's people. Like, we need to be people that are known for the pursuit of justice, and we're not. Like, I think that's fair to say, like, we're not known for that, and that makes me kind of sad. We're not known for our care of the oppressed or defending the weak. Like, we do that in individual churches, like, don't get me wrong, like, but it's not what we're known for. And it's important to be known for lots of different things, and pursuit of justice is just one of those. But yeah, I was just struck by that this morning. So that's what I do in my first set of notes, is I kind of muse on kind of application or my initial thoughts. And it's important to do that, like, and I will add to these notes as I read the commentaries, but these are my reflection notes, and I want to distinguish them from commentary notes because I don't want to use the same pen or anything, because first of all, that's not my thought, like, initially, and so it needs to be attributed to the right person, but also because I don't agree with every commentary that I read, but they're all useful. And so I only really write the notes in my Bible that are like, I agree with this, it helps reinforce the text to me, it helps enhance my relationship with God, my understanding of this text, like, and then I'll make notes on other commentaries elsewhere, and I'll show you that in a second, because I think it's important to, yeah, just kind of make that distinction between, like, academic knowledge, it's not all academic, but like kind of knowledge-based understanding of the text, and devotional-based understanding of the text. So, and we'll see how long I have before my son wakes up, so there you go. I forgot to say, the next thing to do is look at the passage in another translation. So I will use today the NIV. This is another journaling Bible that I have written like one thing in, but because I've used highlighter, I can't give it away. So I'll use it at some point. But yes, so I just kind of literally, if my desk was tidier, I could have them side by side. But I just put them side by side and just look through, see if there's any words that like are kind of markedly different. But sometimes just reading it through a second time anyway is helpful. But I still continue to make the notes in the yellow Bible, not the NIV, if they're notes that are going to help me devotionally or down the line. And then I'll take a pen, and I will use, where is it? This pen. These are the Lagami erasable pens. I saw someone say online that these will, oh, no problem, that these will like disappear in the heat. It doesn't get hot enough here, and I don't take my Bible hot enough places, I think, for me to justify that. I think the woman who said that like lives in Texas, and like if she left it in her car it would disappear or fade. That's not gonna happen to me because I live in the UK and it never gets that hot. So but we'll see. But that's what I use these Lagami pens to write notes on translation, and eventually if there's any particular commentary notes that stand out, I use these so that I can distinguish them. Yeah. So this is really interesting to me. In the NIV, oh dear, verse 4 says, "Woe to the sinful nation," and in the CSB it says, "O sinful nation." And this reminds me of the woes that Jesus gives right before he kind of is crucified. And so I wonder if there's a relationship there, and that maybe the people hearing Jesus say those woes are kind of reminded of this woe to the sinful nation that is said at the beginning of Isaiah. I don't know, just a thought, but yeah, thing I wouldn't have noticed if I hadn't read the second translation, so again, good reason to do it. So I said this was going to be a morning routine video, but actually it's going to be like an all-day video, but not because I'm studying all day. It's now almost 2:30. My son woke up like basically after I filmed that last video, so there was no opportunity to kind of really dig in and do my commentary notes, which is fine. This life happens. And then I had to drop him at nursery, and then I had work, and then I had spiritual direction. So we are now beginning the commentary process, and I've genuinely forgotten what the passage says, so we're gonna go and revisit it, and then I'm gonna read from the Bible dictionary, and then I'm gonna read a commentary, and that'll probably be it for today. Yeah, because I have a lot of work to do, and I think it's important to say, like, you can't do everything in one day. Like, you just can't. So, yeah, let's get going. So welcome back to my Notion dashboard. You can see we're in Isaiah, and if I scroll down you can see overviews here, and I've put it in green because I've finished these notes, or at least finished them for now. I can always obviously go back in and make edits, and that's why the last edited kind of thing is in here, so that I can always see this is when I last went in and edited. The URL, you can ignore that, it's just because that's when, if it's a Bible chapter, I would link to it maybe on Bible Gateway or something like that. Anyway, then I just have these notes. I really like this quote, so I put it at the top. That's basically that. And then I've got the notes from the Bible dictionary, and I've put the page numbers in and the citation. And these are just some bullet point notes, because Bible dictionaries tend to be more bullet point notes. And then I've moved down to the Bible Speaks Today commentary, which is more of a kind of prose summary commentary as opposed to like a verse by verse. I don't actually have a verse by verse commentary for Isaiah, but I do have a study Bible, so I will get that out when we move into like the book chapters and those pages. But this is just some notes. The Bible Speaks Today commentary, the content is good. The thing I'll just say is, like, so for example, when it comes to authorship, like, the writer acknowledges that this is debated, even if they don't hold kind of the standard critical scholarship view, and they tend to hold more of a, well, this is one book written by one author view. But the reason that I've written this is debated here is because it's debated, and then I've written what the author's opinion is underneath. I assume with everything else that it is kind of the author's opinion, but when it's kind of more explicitly stated that there's debate, I make sure to put that. It's why I don't just make notes, I make them under the headings of the author, because there's lots of different authors, lots of different theological perspectives, particularly when it comes to like the overview of books, like structure, authorship, historical context. Like different commentary writers will kind of add different pieces, and so it's important to attribute correctly, both for like academic rigor and making sure your citations are good, but actually as well because, like, Barry Webb, I don't actually know anything about him, but like it's important to just remember that that's his perspective on and that's his research, and so when you kind of combine it with others, so there are parts of this which echoed the Zondervan Bible Dictionary, that makes sense, they're similar theological lanes, but that may not be the case. So if I were to really go kind of ham on this, I would probably go through and like comment and highlight this is different, this is the same, but I don't have time for that. So yeah, copy this map over from a digital copy that I have. I could scan it, but my printer's not set up here, so I'm not going to scan it. Yeah, things I like about Notion is obviously it looks pretty, but also you can do these like drop down boxes, so that makes it easier. I do sometimes hyperlink the passages that I'm referencing and make sure all the citations are there, like I said. So yeah, that's the overview. So that overview took me like an hour and a half, and so it is the next day now. I'm about to go for a run, which I do every other day, but I've been up and I've journaled already, and now I'll go and do my run. I'm doing Couch 5k, and you can see a video, like a vlog about that, somewhere else on my channel if you care. If you don't, fine. But that's why I am all ready to run, and then I will come back, and once I've kind of reacquainted myself with non-running world, I will get back to it, show you the next
bit of the process. So it's quite a bit later in the day now, which is fine. And I just want to say, like, you should just do whatever works for you. Like, don't feel like you have to do this, but also don't feel like you have to kind of do it at the same time every day. You should just do what works for you with your schedule, with your life. Like, I really don't believe that God is like, well, you cut out 5 minutes early today to go pick up your son from nursery, so like, shame on you. I just like don't think that's how this works. And so anyway, yeah, so I'm taking a different bit of time now because I don't want to be rushed, and I know I won't be rushed now, so that's what I'm going to do. I've decided to use this Bible that I showed you before to show you how I would mark it up, and that way you don't have to see my personal notes. I don't have to feel awkward about showing you those, but also you can kind of see the things that I would circle, the things I would highlight, and the things I would look up, and then I'll put those notes into Notion, which is like what I showed you before. It's the dashboard looks a little bit different for a chapter, more so than a like an overview of the book. So yeah, so let's get going. We will probably just to prep you appropriately, we will probably just do verses 1 to 15 because there's a lot in here, and I simultaneously want to get it all done, but also kind of be real, like, and show you what the whole process would look like. But I also just want to be realistic with my time and your time. And there's a lot in, just reading it back, I can see there's a lot I would want to look up. So maybe we may not even get to 15 verses, but I think what I will do is set a Pomodoro timer for about half an hour to do markup, and then I'll use the time after that to type it all up, because I really just don't want to spend too long on it. I've got other things to do, and I just feel like I'm going to rush through it if I do that, and that's just not how I want to kind of approach this season of my Bible study reading. So we're going for slow and steady, and so I'll find a Pomodoro timer, set up half an hour, and we'll go from there.
So you can see here that I've just quickly, well, I would say circled, but I've put squares around them and rectangles, some words that I want to look up in the Bible dictionary, places, names, yeah, kind of a name for God. I want to look up what it means. Some things I just want to be sure of, and like I think I know, well, one thinks, you know, I think I know what it means by Judah, but I just want to check. I think I know who Isaiah is, but I just want to check. So that's the first thing I'm going to do. I've read it through now. I've just kind of put squares around these things, and then I'm going to look all of these things up in the Bible dictionary that I showed you before. I also found another Bible dictionary like this morning in a charity shop that I bought, so I might add those notes and I'll show you those because it's a bit of a different theological angle. So I forgot to mention it, but yeah. So it looks a little bit like this. This Bible I discovered also has like completely blank pages, so this could be really cool to take notes in. So I have this resource that I'm going to show you now, but I haven't used a ton because it's new to me, but I really like it so far. It's the NET Bible Full Notes Edition, and the thing I really like about it is look at all those notes. So these are translation notes, so this is notes from the people who translated the NET. Don't know a ton about the NET, but I do know that they wrote about why they did what they did, and I appreciate it. So I'm going to go through that as well, but I forgot to mention it. And I will just read all of the notes for the passage that I'm looking at, as opposed to looking for specific words, mainly because the notes aren't super long. But yeah, I think I'm really just going to read like these first few verses. I think it's 50. Yeah, we're just going to see how far we get, but yeah, just figured I would plug this resource because it's really cool.
So I said I had another resource, and it's the Oxford Dictionary of the Bible. It didn't cost me very much, but you can see it's a lot thinner than the other one. It uses different like citations and stuff, so it'll be good to have. But you can see that the kind of description for, I'm looking at King Uzziah right now, like it's like this small, whereas on the Zondervan it's like a page, so obviously it's going to be smaller, but it doesn't add very much, so I'm not going to add it to my notes, but it does agree, so that's good to know. So welcome back to my Notion dashboard. You will go back into Isaiah, and we'll go into Isaiah 1 this time. And you can see that it's yellow, not green, because I'm not finished. But that's why it says it's in progress. I haven't checked that it's done, and why the last edited thing is really important. And we're now on Thursday, but I'm just doing some last final things, so that's why that's there. And then this is a URL to the whole passage, just in case I want to look it up on Bible Gateway. And then I put a quote that I feel like represents everything. And then this is where my kind of stuff gets really interesting. So if I go into here, I haven't done Judah and Jerusalem because they're going to take like such a long time, and I want to find a way to connect all of my notes on those things because they show up in like obviously lots of different places. So Uzziah, for example, though, I have done. So it's a person, and this is the reference. And then I just put in the notes very simply from the Bible dictionary. Like I said, I looked in some other places, but there wasn't really anything additional, so I've just left it as this. You'll see that I've kind of put some things in caps, and that's because they are in caps in the Bible dictionary, and it's like an indication that I might want to look at the other ones. Look at those other entries. These ones, like I could look at the entries for these, but it would just really send me down a rabbit hole, so I decided not to do that. So yeah, so that's key terms. Let's go back. And then I just put some verse notes in here that I found really interesting. And this is more notes from the NET notes, study Bibles, things like that. And so I won't have one for every verse. But it's just like if there's a verse that's not really it's not a place, it's not a person, it's not like a word that's specific, it's more like a concept that I want to really think about. Or just an additional note that I found interesting. I'll put them here. And then I'm not there yet, but when we get to, this is my resources section, and so then I'll go through and put my commentary notes in here. I haven't done it yet because I only read like 5 verses, like studied 5 verses, and so it seemed a little silly to kind of go and read the commentary for the whole of verses 1 to 12, 1 to 15, or I can't remember what it just delineated it by, but it seems silly to go and read the whole thing, so I'll do that at the end. And then this is a section that I haven't used so much at the moment. I'm not using so much at the moment, but because I'm using the journaling Bible, but I put this as the bottom as a, like I could put the date and put my some thoughts or any questions that I've got, and then with the date so that I can update that over time. So that's my kind of walkthrough of Isaiah 1 to 5. I really didn't get very far, but actually that's really okay. Like I really learnt a lot. I really gained a new nuggets of knowledge that I'll use as I go throughout the rest of the book. I'm sure it'll get quicker, especially because the overview took such a long time. Isaiah is obviously a big book and there's a lot of context there. But yeah, that's how it works. If you want to see more, let me know in the comments. Let me know what you're reading, if you have got a favourite resource, if there's something, if you have any questions. Yeah, but if this was helpful, maybe I'll make another one. And yeah, I'll see you next time.